Hello and welcome to the vlog. This is not the vlog that I was planning to do today. I was going to do one all about the route planning that I'm doing for when I leave the marina 3 weeks from today. I was going to time it so that it's 3 weeks today, I'll be out, here's the route I'm going to take. That has been rather scuppered by a problem on board the boat. If you are a regular viewer, you will recall my water pump, which is underneath the sink in the bathroom. And this morning it started doing this. That little chirp is happening about every 2 minutes. It wasn't doing this yesterday, it wasn't doing it overnight, though it did give a single chirp overnight, but since I woke up this morning, every couple of minutes, just running. Now, what this normally means is there is a loss of pressure somewhere in the system. In other words, you've got a leak. However, I have checked the bathroom taps, I've checked the bathroom shower, I've checked the galley taps. They are all off, none of them are leaking, and I can see no leak, as far as I can tell, in any of the pipework. I'm told that what this means is that either the pump is starting to fail, or the water accumulator may not have enough pressure, or indeed itself may be starting to fail. This is the accumulator. It's a small water tank that is pressurised, and the idea is that when you open a tap, the pressure of the water initially comes from this, and then once the water has been exhausted, this is then repressurised by the water pump. And on the end there, behind that black cap, there's a little bicycle valve type arrangement where you can put a pump on and repressurise the system. Now, if this loses pressure, it would cause the water pump to come on to try to repressurise it. Here is my car pump, which will fit on the end of that accumulator, but I notice has no pressure gauge on it to tell me what the pressure is. So at this point, I think I need to call in an expert. And by expert, of course, I mean Gary from the marina, who knows everything there is to know about narrowboats. And he's a man with a foot pump with a gauge on it, which is what you need at times like this. A few minutes later, and I did have a go on the accumulator with my own pump, and by and large let a load of air out, so that wasn't very good. But when Gary put his on with a meter, he said the thing was still overpressured, so it had obviously been vastly overpressured to start with. So we've let a bit more air out. It's now at 2 bar, which is about the right level, and the cycling of the pump seems to have stopped, but I don't know if this is actually a solution or not. So now I've just got to sit here and kind of wait and hear if the pump switches itself on and off again. But it's a glorious day. I'm going to get a book, sit, cup of tea, and just enjoy it and listen out for that pump. Couple of other things just to tell you about while I'm sitting here. You recall my new windowed side panels in the cratch cover. I'm also having made for them some panels that will velcro on inside to block the light coming in. That might sound slightly contradictory, but it's for when I'm moored up on the canal bank and I don't want passers-by peering in at me. And those are going to be fitted over the weekend. And one other thing I'm having done, you see these well deck seats come steps come locker tops, because that is a locker underneath there. That is one slab of wood, and trying to get that out is a right pain in the backside, because firstly I have to move my table and the wood and everything else that's in the well deck, and that plank will only come directly backwards off where it's sitting. If you try and go sideways at all, it just gets jammed. It's the most annoying, frustrating thing. So, as there is at the middle at the back a little metal support, it means what I can do is chop the board in half. So that becomes two separate pieces, each of which can then easily be lifted out, making access to the locker that much better. And I'll do the same on this side as well, which is underneath all this other stuff. But that will solve one of those little frustrating problems on the boat that's been irritating at me since I got it. There's nothing much stored in those lockers. I've got some rope and it's sort of junk really. It's a junk store, but tins of paint, things like that. Every now and again, whenever you want to get in there, it's a nuisance. I've got a spare bag of coal in there as well. And cutting that step is going to make it a lot easier to get into. Several hours later now, and so far I've not heard the pump go off, so let us tentatively call that a success. I was, as I said at the beginning, planning to do a video about my route planning. I'll try and get that done perhaps over the weekend, certainly in the next few days anyway, and put that up very soon. In the meantime, any questions, queries, comments, pop them in the comments below, you know the form, and thank you, as always, for watching. Cheerio now, bye-bye.